Hi everyone, welcome to Teachable University, and today we'll be discussing Isaac Newton's laws of motion. I am your humble lecturer, Frank Nunez, and like with every lecture, I like to start with a quote from the man himself. To explain all nature is too difficult a task for anyone or even for any one age. Tests much better to do a little with certainty and leave the rest for others to come. And a profound quote by Newton, because I think he realized in his discovery of the laws of motion that would have such a profound impact on physics and really our interpretation and understanding the physical and natural world around us, that it was well beyond his grasp of understanding of the subject, and it would require future generations to expand and apply what it is that he discovered in the physical sciences. And Newton, just to give you some background on him, if you're not familiar with him already, Newton was a mathematician, author, physicist, and theologian who is considered one of the greatest scientists of all time. He truly was a Renaissance man and a genius and prolific in so many different fields. And one of his well known discoveries was the laws of motion. And what is the laws of motion? The laws of motion is defined as when objects at rest will remain at rest, and objects in motion will remain in motion at the same velocity unless the object is acted upon by an external force. Force equals mass times acceleration. Quick little equation there. And to sort of sum this up is that when an object exerts force on another object, the second object exerts an equal and opposite force on the first. So with every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When an object is in motion, it will remain in motion. So how can we better understand this? Well, let's look at this soccer ball here that is sitting on a flat surface. Unless some external force like the wind or somebody kicking that ball, that ball is not going to move. It's going to stay in the same spot. So we have here this soccer player that is going to kick the ball. And if you recall the term when every reaction there's an equal and opposite reaction, when that soccer player hits the ball, it's going to move in the opposite direction. The reaction of his foot applying force to the ball will move in the opposite direction, and it will continue moving until gravity does its thing and it will stop in place. Another example, let's say we're on top of a hill, and I think there's human beings in there. I'm not really sure. I thought this was pretty humorous to use this image. But let's say if you're on top of a hill and you roll this ball down the hill, and that ball will continue rolling down the hill at the same velocity, at peak velocity, until some external force stops that ball from rolling down the hill. So how is it that we can apply the laws of motion to our everyday life or our understanding of the external environment or our world around us? So physics can tell us much about the physical world, including our interaction with complex systems found in economics and human interactions and behavior. So the laws of motion can tell us a lot about momentum and about how we can better understand complex systems found in economics, which is really just about human interaction and human behavior and how we relate to one another. And when you go back to example for the 80-20 rule, which is another lecture that I created, which I'll add the link to the video description of this lecture, you'll find that it's, this, for example, in a sales force, it's the same group of salespeople that make the vast majority of the sales, or the top 1% of entrepreneurs are the ones that make the most amount of profit and money in a particular industry. And the list just goes on. And how a select few, or how a small percentage or group can have a profound impact on an entire system or population. And just to sort of, again, apply this to economics here, or in this case, the stock market, we have this stock chart of Microsoft, which, now, again, I want to, as a disclaimer, this is not a stock recommendation. This is strictly for educational purposes. By the time you view this video, this will already be out of date anyway. But I want to stress again, this is not a stock recommendation. But as of taking a photo of this or screenshot of this chart, Microsoft is trading at a 52-week high at $261.96. And there's a group of stock traders called trend followers. And trend followers look for underlying trends in the market. And these trends can be found in the stocks, in the commodity markets, or different assets or markets. And what they do is they look for price movement and see if there's upward trends in price or if there's downward trends in price. And they make their financial trading decisions based on these trends. So in this case, we have Microsoft that right now is trading at a 52-week high And when you apply the laws of motion, when an object is in motion, it stays in motion. A trend follower will apply that by saying, well, if a stock is reaching 52-week highs, it will continue to reach and break new highs and continue to go up in price for a number of factors. It could be the fundamentals, financial institutions and major market players can pour money into the stock, or the bulls or will essentially enter this particular stock and causing the price to go up. But it's looking for these trends and looking at this momentum that once a stock reaches a 52-week high, it will continue to do so until there's external or market forces that will say otherwise. Stock doesn't go up forever, and eventually, like in the case of Microsoft, it will eventually consolidate or go down in price at some point. When it comes to human relationships, you'll notice that there's some people that seem to be like the life of the party. They have a lot of friends, they're very sociable. They just seem to, wherever they go, they emit a certain energy, or they're just able to just gravitate a lot of people around them. They have a large sphere of influence. And how we can apply the laws of motion is that when it comes to momentum in human relationships, once somebody really has that social proof and has a lot of friends and has that sort of energy and that vibe, they will continue to make new friends and continue to expand their sphere of influence and network. And that doesn't mean that if you don't have any friends right now, of course, you're just gonna, you're never gonna have any friends. It's how we can apply the laws of motion is that we can begin building momentum and start to take the steps necessary to sort of create that snowball effect where we can just expand our network and make friends and just enhance and expand our sphere of influence. And when it comes to human emotions, whenever there's the term, when every reaction there's an equal and opposite reaction, to go back to the definition of laws of motion. So with joy, there comes sadness. With courage, there is fear. With love, you have hate. And with intelligence, you have ignorance. So you can't have one without the other. With every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you're sad right now, the opposite reaction is that you're happy. If you're fearful, the opposite reaction is being courageous, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here, that with the laws of motion and with physics, we can apply them to a lot of aspects of our lives, whether it's in business and entrepreneurship, or even in just human relationships and our relationships with other people. There's a lot of applications that we can use physics for on a daily basis. And we're going to expand on that as we continue with future courses. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also visit my website at teachinguniversity.com, where you can view more of my lectures. And you could also subscribe to my email list, where you can get additional information on new courses and other news and events related to Teachly. You can also visit my Udemy page, and I'll have the link on the video description page below, where you can view all my courses that you can purchase for your viewing pleasure, and you can have unlimited access to all my content once you purchase my courses. So thank you so much for watching my lecture, and I'll see you next time.